Welcome back to another episode of Chicago Brewed Sports. As always, we're joined by Brandon Nordley sitting to my left, and to my right is Joe Klatt. As for myself, my name is Andrew Nordley. We're a podcast
for the fans, by the fans.
Thank you for joining us. We hope your Thanksgiving went well. We hope you guys ate a lot of good food, as we did. But we have an action-packed night, so Brandon, please get us started.
Absolutely, Andrew, Joe, good to see you guys. Pumped up for the podcast today. Like Andrew said, we have a lot to discuss today. We're going through all the sports, and I want to jump right into it. You know, second week in a row, I'm busting out the Connor Bedard jersey. I feel like it's really appropriate to do on tonight's episode, especially with everything I'm about to talk about. So let's get into it here. First and foremost, the Blackhawks topped the Seattle Kraken 4-3 on Tuesday night. It was a very good come-from-behind victory. This does actually also put the Hawks in a position where they can string together their first back-to-back wins if they go ahead and defeat Detroit tonight, which, you know, we'll get into Detroit later and all that. 3 stars from that Kraken game on Tuesday. Peter Mrazek with 33 saves, .917 save percentage. Mackenzie Entwistle, right winger, with 1 goal. And then Joey Anderson, another right winger, with 2 assists. That's some of the good stuff I had for you guys, I guess. You can say that. Unfortunately, you know, this achievement was overshadowed by a post-game press conference featuring an emotional Kyle Davidson. As you guys know, he's the GM of our Chicago Blackhawks, and who addressed Corey Perry's dismissal. I guess the short version would be to just say that Corey Perry had his contract terminated on Wednesday, November 29th. The 38-year-old forward was placed on waivers Tuesday and went unclaimed. However, there's a lot more to talk about, so I'm going to get into the long version. I guess the question everyone's asking is, what led to this internal investigation, right? There's a lot of speculation about what led to it, and I wouldn't say there's not that much information out there. Kyle Davidson said that the club learned of the incident while in Columbus, which led to him being pulled from the lineup immediately, but declined to talk about specifics, describing the incident as an individual personal matter and a workplace matter. Davidson also mentioned how both the NHL and the NHLPA Players Association were aware of the incident, but that it was a team decision to cut ties with Perry because it was a team incident. Like I said, very little is known about the circumstances that led to Perry's dismissal. So in an attempt to avoid defamation of his name, honestly, I'm going to kind of tread lightly moving forward. So an anonymous source is attributing Perry's dismissal basically to his involvement of, quote-unquote, being in a relationship with Connor Bedard's mother. All right. So that story is actually complete fabrication. In fact,
kind of funny though.
It is fun. It is funny.
It sounds like and fucking Miggy 2.0 and Prince Fielder. Remember that?
Yeah. No, there's been a lot of. I was talking to someone at work earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out to John about, you know, all the times this has happened, but but like I said, this story is confirmed complete fabrication. In fact, this story forced Kyle Davidson's hand, who alluded to it in a press conference. Basically what he said was, I do want to be very clear on this one point. This does not involve any players or their families, and anything that suggests otherwise or anyone that suggests otherwise is wildly inaccurate. So, right, he alluded to it. He didn't flat out address that rumor, but he also kind of did. So yeah, that's insane that was even brought up, especially if it's not true. So crazy. That said, whatever it is that transpired with Corey Perry in this locker room really does seem egregious. And I quote from Kyle Davidson. He said, "To be honest, I think over the last 24 hours, what's gone on has been very disturbing, and I feel like I'm wearing it. I'm carrying that," Davidson said before his voice trailed off. "It's just tough to see. Yeah, it's just tough to see." There's a lot of emotion. He was very emotional in that press conference. I mean, to say disturbing, that's a very powerful word. Sources do say, so I'll continue. Sources say that an alcohol-fueled incident was alleged to have happened during an event that included corporate partners and team employees in attendance. So I'm going to turn to you guys. There's obviously a lot to unpack there. What are your guys' initial thoughts on the whole situation?
Well, it's definitely an unfortunate situation for the Blackhawks as well as Corey Perry and his family and stuff like that. Obviously, what happened, what transpired in the locker room with all those guys is, like I said, unfortunate. And quite frankly, I wish Corey Perry the best. I hope whatever he's going through, he goes through it smoothly. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, it sounds like it's right now that it's not culture you want going on in the locker room. You don't want rumors like that being spread. It's attention that the Hawks don't need right now. I mean, they got enough attention right now how they're playing. I think it affects them mentally as a team. It doesn't look good. That's my serious thoughts. My my kind of joking around thoughts though is that Connor Bedard. I've never seen his mom, like how his mom looks, but Connor Bedard's only 18, so his mom, potentially could be that, younger age, she could be good looking. Oh. And, all it takes is someone seeing that Perry's talking to Connor Bedard's mom, and they're, being nice and, not flirting, but just being nice and, laughing. And it's like, oh, yeah, I bet you, they're...
I bet you Corey Perry's piping Bedard's mom.
Well, right. Just all of a sudden, rumors start up out of nowhere. And that's, as simple as that. That's how rumors start. It's just something like you see two people talking and they're laughing or whatever and they're just being nice and all of a sudden everything spreads around, especially in a locker room talk, that hey they're doing this behind
and
doors. Just
to clarify again, it's a fabricated story. It's not true.
But it's drama you do not want right now, especially with everything that's going on. You want to be building positive energy. This is just negative energy. It's not stuff you want. So that's my thoughts.
That's very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, boys. Mm-hmm. I'll touch on that too. I think first and foremost, from a player's perspective or from a team perspective, I think Corey Perry was our leading winger in points.
Well,
so we do have a replacement, which is something I am kind of going to talk about later.
Did you see it?
Oh, that's
his mom. So she looks actually pretty young.
Yeah, hey, Corey Perry's 38, like I said. So
they're probably close to the same
probably
age.
Not that far off. Probably not. But as I was saying, Corey Perry, he was our highest point scored, point totaled winger. There is a potential replacement inbound. So I'm going to allude to that or speak on that soon as well. One thing I will say is that Luke Richardson, our head coach, he did single out Nick Foligno as a guy that rallied the group before the game to make sure that everyone was in the right frame of mind. Obviously this was when rumors started to swirl about what was going to happen with Perry, and someone had to step up. I can't stress enough at this point how much Foligno has really meant to this locker room. And as mentioned in the preseason, Kyle Davidson decided not to put a C on the jersey of any player in the 2023-2024 season, and instead opted to have a group of assistant captains. In my opinion, I think, all things considered, things that I've read, things that I've seen, I think Foligno is now the unsanctioned captain of this team after what happened with Corey Perry. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do, but I actually really, really like that move of not putting the C on someone's chest. Because such a young team, it gives players that extra kind of oomph and stride, to try and get there. So it creates a competitive kind of friendly nature for a team, which you need for sure.
Hey, Brandon, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So, that you're bringing this up about bad locker room drama with, rumors about Perry and Bedard's mother.
Sure.
You know what this reminds me of? Do you guys remember Patrick Kane and rumors with him sleeping with other people's wives and girlfriends 9 years ago? I remember this. Okay, so this is what this reminds me of. So apparently, someone posted this on Reddit. Can someone fill me in on the Patrick Sharp drama? Apparently, he's on the trading block, and I'm hearing rumors that there's a fist fight in the locker room that stemmed from him allegedly sleeping with Duncan Keith's wife and Patrick Kane's girlfriend. So I remember those rumors going around, but that was similar to this
Unbelievable.
kind of like fights in the locker room because I supposedly all of that was fake too.
And
but
what's
this
funny
kind of
is
reminds
that
me of this
it's not
story.
funny, but what's interesting about that is there's been a lot of Patrick Kane and Connor Bedard comps too. I mean, honestly, so that's interesting. I know for me, when I think of Patrick Kane in a controversial way, right, we think of when he beat the shit out of that taxi driver or Uber driver. That's kind of what I think, but that's crazy.
Do you guys
Joe.
remember that though when Patrick Kane was doing that?
I don't.
It was
I don't
a
remember
small
that.
window and it was shut down real quick.
Yeah,
Similar to
yeah.
this, like hey, this is rumors.
It very well
remember
could have
though.
just been a rumor. Most likely.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep moving forward. I have a couple more things on the Hawks, guys, so bear with me. So, like I was saying, right, so in wake of Perry's dismissal, the Blackhawks have actually secured forward Anthony Beauvillier from the Vancouver Canucks, exchanging a fifth-round pick in the 2024 NHL Draft. The bulk of his career has been played with the New York Islanders. He was drafted 28th overall in the 2015 NHL Draft, followed by a 2-year stint with Vancouver. At 26 years old, he's only 26, so we got another young gun. Beauvillier, sorry, his name's a rough one. Beauvillier has 29 points, 15 goals, 14 assists in 49 Stanley Cup playoff games, all with New York. So at 26 years old, this guy's got some playoff experience. And you know what? For a young team like this, where a lot of our guys don't, hey, you know what? There's a silver lining, hopefully. I'm going to switch topics a little bit. Still Blackhawks related, kind of. Tonight, as we record this, the Detroit Red Wings are hosting the Blackhawks as we speak. This is significant news because the Red Wings just signed Patrick Kane to a 1-year, $2.75 million contract. Kane actually offered an explanation as to why he chose them in a press conference. Another touchy subject for us Blackhawk fans. This entire segment isn't really for the faint of heart, but bear with me. Patrick Kane said, and I quote, "I think with the young team that's been playing well as of late, I can come in and build my game. Not too much pressure on me with the success that they're having this year. Also, probably the Alex DeBrincat factor had something to do with it," end quote. Thoughts, boys?
I think it's a little surprising to me. Obviously, Patrick Kane went out and stated that he wants to play for a competitive team, which Detroit is competitive this year. They are 11-7-3 with plus 13 points on the season. So they're a young team too, so of course they could use a veteran presence like Patrick Kane on the team. But I thought for sure he was a lot going into Buffalo. That's his hometown. I believe he stated in the past that he would like to go there and play. Maybe the stars didn't align. Buffalo is 10-2, so they're not like terrible. They're right in the middle with a -7 that could be better. But regardless of whatever team, he's signing with Detroit, but Kane is going to go to that team and he's going to impact them. He is the greatest American hockey player in history, so his veteran presence will have an impact on Detroit. And obviously, as Hawks fans,
It hurts.
It hurts. We're not, that fond of Detroit, let's be honest. But we still wish you the best. And, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember the early 2010s and the rivalry we had with Detroit. And,
oh, yeah.
It's definitely going to be weird seeing Kaner and
They're kicking our ass right now, 1-3. So
1-3.
they just scored, literally.
So,
as we're talking.
like I said, the Hawks still haven't won consecutive games yet this season. I was hoping maybe they, strung one together against the Krakens. Maybe we can get one against Detroit. Oh, by the way, if anyone's interested, I could be wrong. I'm 99.9% sure that Patrick Kane, although we're playing them tonight, and although the contract is official, I don't believe he's playing tonight.
If I could just add one more thing. So there was rumors, it wasn't confirmed obviously, but there was rumors that Patrick Kane was...
No, that was an accident.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
So there was rumors that Patrick Kane was signing a 2-year deal worth $3.5 to like $4 million per season with the Sabres, and that's coming off a hip injury. So if that's true, I'm surprised he kind of let that money off the table because there's no guarantee how good Patrick Kane is going to do coming off such a major injury like that, being as old as he is. So I think he's gambling on himself for sure. If he did turn that down with Buffalo, but he is Patrick Kane, so I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Three-time
still
Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah, I mean, he's still, he's obviously had some injuries as of recent. He's 36 years old. He's just trusting himself, and it's just a prove-it contract, which I can respect. And I think, based on what Patrick Kane had said in that press conference, like everything he says makes perfect sense. I think that he really explained that being on the same line with DeBrincat and him already having chemistry will probably increase the way he plays, which in turn can make this prove-it deal even better. And I think also he wanted to go to, a team that is young, a team that's fast.
That also has the chance of winning, of course.
A team that has a chance of winning, but a team where he doesn't have to be the guy, obviously, which no one would really expect that anyways, but he wants to just play his own game with zero pressure, and that's kind of how he feels. So he's in a good headspace.
And also, he did make plenty of money with the Blackhawks.
Right.
So
what's 1.5? Come on.
So, I'm sure $4 million to a pretty much $100 million player.
Yeah, and if he beat the shit out of a cab driver over $1,
he's probably frugal.
He might be frugal.
Probably frugal.
He probably saved his money pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
But that's all I have on the Hawks, gentlemen.
But I want to bring up one more thing about Corey Perry. How you said, what happened to Corey Perry is unfortunate, obviously, but I think the Hawks will feel this on the ice as well as in the locker room, obviously, because Corey Perry is definitely a veteran presence, and you did bring up how
1-4 now. They just scored again.
And you did. I forgot his name already. The dude that we got from the
Anthony Beauvillier.
Yeah, he has playoff experience, which is important, but
a lot of playoff experience.
Corey Perry also has a ton of playoff experience.
Anyone need any beer?
No, I'm good.
I'm all right, Joe.
Back with the Ducks. And also, Corey Perry, I think people also forget how good of a player he was and how impactful he was to the Ducks back in the day. Obviously, players like Bedard and the young guys could have learned a lot from Corey Perry. So it definitely does hurt as a Hawks fan, for a guy like that to...
It does. It's going to be off the team, but it's going to be hard to replace him. He had a presence, but
with that being said, the Hawks are not expected to compete this year. So
you know what?
At least it happened in a year where there's no real expectations.
The only possible silver lining I can think of too is that I'm not sure. Really, at this point, we don't know how much time on ice that Anthony Beauvillier is going to get coming into this new team right away. This team's struggling no matter what. At the end of the day, with or without Perry, I think they were going to struggle. Ultimately, let's be honest. We're the second worst team in the NHL. We're only 2 points ahead of San Jose to be the worst. So, with and without Perry, we've sucked. So maybe we do have a young team. Yeah. Maybe it gives other guys more time on ice. Maybe it gives other guys a chance to work with one another more, things of that nature. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
If there is one fond memory that I have of Corey Perry, Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf was definitely one of those dynamic duos in the league. It was kind of like the Alex Ovechkin and Backstrom, like the Malkin and the freaking Sidney Crosby, the Tays and the Kane. So, and I've watched Corey Perry for like damn near 10 years now. So, seeing what he once was and now moving forward, it does suck as a hockey fan or as a good-hearted human to begin with. But that's all. We wish Corey Perry the best. We hope everything works out well for you. And that was a great segment on the Hawks. Thank you, Brandon.
And no more of that Connor Bedard's mom rumors. That's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, that's totally fabricated. Totally fabricated. I want to reiterate that.
I think I'd like to take our shot now for the losers. You guys want to jump into that really quick?
Sure.
I just feel like it's time.
I'm just throwing a Zin, my guy.
Be all right.
I'm throwing a fucking Zin and taking a shot.
Are we taking the shot? I thought it was me and Joe. Oh, it's me and you.
You.
Well, we could wait then. Let's talk about some baseball. How about that?
Fuck it. Let's just do the shot. You brought it up. We got to do it now.
All right. So Brandon and Andrew both got 30. Tony technically lost, but he's not here. The next time Tony joins us, he will be doing a shot of Malort. But for now, we don't want to leave you guys hanging because you guys want to see a shot of Malort. So Brandon and Andrew were runners-up for last, so they are taking the shot.
Hey, and I do want to say one thing. Tony, you owe us a damn shot, buddy.
Joe,
we will get that shot one way or the other.
Joe, I gotta bring something up. I gotta put you on the spot.
Sure.
What happened to that turkey malort, dude? I was kind of looking forward to it.
So the weird.
It sounded terrible, but I would have tried it.
That's a great question, Brandon, because I like trying weird, unique, like kind of things. But the problem with the turkey malort was that the distillery didn't open till like 5 o'clock. Going to the city at 5 o'clock to buy something is a nightmare with traffic. So I just didn't end up going. I mean, there was really not a good time to go and do it. So that's plain and simple why.
Fair enough.
So if they sold it at Binny's or wherever, but they only sold it at the
downtown
distillery.
driving blows, dude. Say less.
So yeah,
I'm
that's
with you.
basically why.
Dude, I really don't want
The
to.
trip just didn't seem worth it.
Dude, my stomach's churning. Dude.
No,
It's
my
been a while. I haven't
stomach
lost
is
in a while.
legitimately churning or turning, just like what.
So
Brandon
Andrew's
said.
score was 38-14
Yeah.
with a total points of 30, and Brandon's was 31-21, total points of 30. Tony was 31-24 with total points of 33. I was 27-24, total of 29. We all had the Vikings winning this game, and they lost. But Andrew's score was so close to what the Bears got, it actually kind of saved him. So
Unbelievable. I really, until an hour ago when it was brought up, I really was like, no, I didn't lose. There's no way. Cannot believe I'm taking a fucking shot right now.
yeah, just the way that the point system works for how we do it. So
It was in the frickin' the damn group message.
I missed it, dude.
What, you just don't read the fucking messages?
I read it.
Sometimes I miss
Bullshit,
things too,
dude.
though. No, I miss things too. Like if there's like
Well,
Like if
the
I'm-
reason why is because we're all fucking arguing throughout the day of
Yeah.
football.
And it's always
shit,
about
yeah, some
Fields.
dumb shit.
Yeah, it's always about the
I wanted to
quarterback
jump through.
situation.
I wanted to jump through my phone today and strangle.
Always about
strangle
Fields
fucking
and the
Andrew.
All right.
No, like
That wouldn't be the first time.
Honestly, I feel as if he actually would have,
All right, let's
if that
go,
was
buddy.
possible. But
All right.
fuck, dude.
Hey
Cheers,
man,
bud.
I feel like by the end of this year, Andrew's gonna start liking Malort. I just have a feeling. Oh man, what a fucking bitch! Come on, you're doing a chaser with it.
Dude, I'm
Drink
telling
it like
you,
a
man.
man.
I was not fucking feeling that shit today,
Me
dude.
neither, bro. That was brutal. Holy fuck.
Like I typically don't want to do that. I want to take the shot like a man, really soak in me losing, but not feeling it today, dude. My stomach was already kind of iffy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, we almost have this bottle polished off.
you guys ever
This kid almost just fucking puked if you saw
sorry,
that.
it's the taste in my throat. You guys ever take a shot and like you kind of take it the wrong way and it like gets like caught in your throat or like
Well, yeah, that's Malort. It stays in your fucking throat.
So you got like
Fuck,
a
dude.
flat-
Even
a
with
flat
all that freaking Gatorade, man.
Do you know about
it's still
this?
in my damn throat.
epiglottis. It's a flat that between the airway, your trachea, and your esophagus, your stomach.
yeah.
So
Oh, that was a Malort burp.
So
too.
if it's like
Fuck.
kind of partially open, like when you're trying to breathe and talk at the same time and swallow something, it could kind of go down your windpipe, which is your trachea, which it kind of probably what happened to you.
Dude.
So, but
You know,
it prevents
or sometimes
food from going down.
that
your
happens
airway.
too, but like sometimes when I take a shot, sometimes it like I can just put it back and it just goes down seamlessly, but sometimes like the process of the shot just feels like it's delayed. I don't know if I
So-
sound fucking crazy, but
So this might sound kind of crazy, but so take a deep breath, blow out, then take the shot, and it might like
yeah,
be
that no,
different.
I've heard that works.
I've also heard that if you cover your nose or if you plug your nose and then you take the shot, that also would help out.
Yeah, well
I
that's
don't know how true that is
that's
either.
more so that like the smell of the alcohol, like tequila or
Well, yeah.
whatever.
Well, they say that if you knock out the smell of it, it lessens the taste on your taste buds or the flavor on your taste buds. I don't know. I'm not some freaking scientist, whatever.
All
But
right. Let's talk about
regardless,
Shohei, baby.
Jepson Malort's terrible. And yes, we will be talking about Shohei because why the hell not? It's fun to talk about. Everyone wants to hear it. And if you don't, you're crazy. But we're going to jump into baseball here. I want to start off by saying the winter meetings begin December 4th, which is very soon. I believe Sunday. and ends on the 7th. So we have a couple days of that, few days of excitement. I want to say every year, big market teams like the Cubs really look forward to the winter meeting just because we have more money to spend and we can reel in those big fishes. Brandon, I think this is a very important question to ask you.
Sure.
How do you feel? How do you feel about being a White Sox fan with the small market? You know, players don't want to come there. I would imagine. Actually, hats off to you for being a White Sox fan and sticking with them, because I thought about this the other day. It must be really difficult to be a fan of a small market team for that one aspect. You never expect a big free agent to ever come your way. And I also want to add that I've been a Cubs fan for as long as I can remember. He'll vouch for me on that as well. But what is your opinion?
I think it's a valid thought. I think that we've just been, as a White Sox fan, and there are other teams in multiple leagues that can probably agree with me, but I think it's very painful, and I think as a Sox fan, you just put a lot more weight on the draft, because at the end of the day,
and trades, yeah, for sure,
trades and the draft. Because at the end of the day, if you know you're not going to get the big time free agent, right? If you know you're not going to get the Manny Machados or the Bryce Harpers, you got to make sure that you're drafting the right players. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, when you have that draft pick, you're in an equal playing field with high market teams. Yeah. It's about, hey, can you draft the right guy? You have the right pick. Can you draft the right guy? So there's a lot of weight on draft picks. There's a lot of weight on trades, and that's why there was so much hype with the White Sox. You made so many trades dating back to Adam Eaton, Chris Sale, Jose Quintana, etc. And I think that's why there was so much excitement pumped into the Sox for such a short time. But yeah, it sucks, dude. Yeah. I don't know how else to tell you. It fucking sucks.
Very true. Sticking on the White Sox real quick. This was reported today by John Morosi. Dylan Cease trade talks are intensifying, or heating up, as you might call it. That's pretty major news.
Trade them all away, dude.
That's pretty major. A guy like Dylan Cease, he's coming off a down year. He had a 4.58 ERA. He had a 2.20 ERA the year before and was the runner-up for Cy Young behind Justin Verlander. So obviously he digressed a little bit. Well, ERA a lot. With the strikeouts, he was only a couple of ticks below his averages for last season. So his strikeouts are still there, which is important. But I just think that stemmed from being on a really shitty team with no one having fun on the team.
You know what? The sad reality of being a Sox fan is that you do, like with any team, you do grow to really like these players. You know, like a guy like Luis Robert, a guy like Abreu, whomever. Yeah. A guy like Dylan Cease is a great example. Giolito was one of them. Like, you really grow to like these players because you see the passion, even on a suspect team with horrible ownership, and you kind of almost just. Obviously, right, there's a gain to trading a guy like Dylan Cease. You kind of want to build up the farm system. As we know, the Sox have a horrible farm system, even after the trades we've already made. But what I'm saying is, I also want to see Cease be traded, just because I hate to see his talent go wasted. I want to see. Well, as a Sox fan, it means I'm a Dylan Cease fan. And I would like to see Dylan Cease go to a team like the Braves or go to a team like the Dodgers or a different team that he can actually compete with. Yeah. And the same could be said about Luis Robert. In my opinion, I don't think there's a single Sox player. And I know Chris Getz has gone on record saying that, Luis Robert is probably the only untouchable. But I disagree. I think Luis Robert, I don't care how long we have him locked up for. I would like to see Luis Robert contend on a better team.
Well,
and that's me being a Luis Robert fan.
I think now is the time. If you're gonna go through a rebuild, you got to 100% commit to the rebuild. And Chris Getz should obviously know that. He's the GM. He has experience. And obviously he also knows that Dylan Cease and Luis Robert has multiple years of control still under contract. So if you wait another year, I believe both of them have 2 years of control left. If you wait one year to trade these guys off, their trade value is going to go significantly down just because they only got 1 year of control. But if you trade a player of that dynamic of Cease and Luis Robert with more than 1 year control, now you're talking like prime time top of the line prospects for these guys. So I agree. I think now is the time to absolutely trade these guys and send them on their way. There's a lot of teams that are interested in pitching right now. There are a lot of teams that could use a guy like Luis Robert. Actually, every team in baseball could use a guy like Luis Robert, let's be honest. He's that good.
You saw the season Luis Robert had?
Yeah.
You remember, Andrew, you had him in fantasy baseball.
I did.
There was a 3-week stretch where every single day I felt like I was opening up my fantasy app and seeing this guy went yard again. It was
no, seriously. He went through cold and hot streaks, but his hot streaks were insane.
And that's on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Put some protection around this guy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Imagine that dude on the Dodgers or something like that. It'd be ridiculous. But that's all we got for the White Sox. We're going to jump into the Cubs now. At some point soon, baseball's biggest offseason dominoes will begin to topple. Obviously, the winter meetings is always a fun time of the year for baseball. Trades and free agents are going to follow very shortly. The Cubs should be very active on all fronts to build a consistent championship caliber team. They're a few pieces away, I believe, to really making a run at this for multiple seasons. And we are about to get into that. Two major storylines for the Cubs, and that's all I have. Two major storylines. Yes, we're going back to this because why the hell not? Like I said before we started the Cubs or the baseball thing, Ohtani's fun to talk about. Who doesn't want to see Ohtani in a Cubs uniform? So, number one, can the Cubs really be a player in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes? I think you guys know my opinion on this already. I think 100% yes, the Cubs are, favorited, if not second favorited, to land Ohtani. ESPN actually came out today ranking that Ohtani, the Cubs were third in line to get Ohtani, with Toronto being second and number one being the Dodgers. Toronto really surprises me because I think it's an underperforming team.
Hopefully it doesn't go there.
Like Bobichet's obviously good, but Vladdy hasn't lived up to all the hype and stuff. So I'm not really sure if that's going to be a real big factor. But the Cubs were among the finalists to land Ohtani when he came to the major leagues 6 years ago. 6 years ago, if you guys recall, the NL didn't have a DH. And that's pretty freaking gnarly news to share because Ohtani is a DH pitcher, right? So if he considered going to an NL team that didn't implement the DH yet, he would like. That's pretty crazy. Why? Like he wouldn't fit in an NL team 6 years ago, but yet the Cubs were still among the finalists for him to sign here. So
that
that's
would have benefited us, right, Andrew? Because we didn't have.
It would have forced Ohtani to play a position because they didn't have the DH. He would have been able to pitch easily, but he would have had to play.
Wasn't he like
position.
a top pitcher right now?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It'd be like having a Kerry Wood again.
So the fact,
better hitter.
You're overpaying. You would be overpaying for Ohtani for 1 year, 100%.
Yeah.
For 1 year, and then hopefully his arm comes back. But
so it benefits us anything.
But that's the whole point I'm trying to make. He was the Cubs were finalists on his list to come to the Cubs in the NL that didn't even have a DH, and that's what he is, a DH pitcher. So that's pretty big, I believe. The Cubs have a big market team with a small neighborhood feel around Wrigley, a.k.a. the Friendly Fines, that also has, guess what, a friendly in the friendly confines. Meaning Seiya Suzuki. I said that last time, I'll say it again. A friendly in the friendly confines.
Just don't ask him to catch a fly ball.
That's true. Hopefully he doesn't make that mistake again. So that's number two. The Cubs have a vacant DH slot. Plus, they need an arm for the rotation down the road. The Cubs had no production out of the DH slot this year, as well as first base, other than Cody Bellinger sliding in there every now and then.
Hey Andrew, what do you think about bringing Kyle Schwarber back for DH slot? Or no? You think he's washed?
No, he's definitely not washed, but he's not coming back to Chicago. He's probably staying in Philly for a little bit.
Why would you want to leave Philly?
Yeah.
If you're a player with Philly, why would you want to leave?
There's no
way. The fans love Schwarber, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the Philly fans love
him. But yeah, I mean, and I will say it, the Cubs did not mess up on getting rid of Rizzo. They did not mess up on getting rid of Bryant or Baez or any of those guys. But we did royally mess up on letting go of Schwarber. We got no compensation pick out of him. We didn't trade him. We didn't extend him a qualifying offer. We didn't extend him a contract extension. And he ended up being by far the best player out of that entire group. So the Cubs did make a mistake there, but fortunately we're able to bounce back and we're back into contention. But the Cubs have payroll flexibility. We have a lot of money to spend this offseason as well as next offseason, with $50 million more coming off the books next offseason. So the Cubs are going to continue to be adding players to make a serious contention and run for sure. We just reeled in the game's top manager in Craig Counsell. I say he is probably the top guy in the league right now. So who wouldn't want to play for a guy like Craig Counsell?
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Do you think he will be giving Matt Eberflus advice like David Ross was?
I think Craig Counsell could actually benefit the Bears. I think he's just a really smart-minded guy.
You might be onto something.
Yeah, he's a very smart-minded guy.
Like
Like Craig Counsell, honestly, I believe could probably run the Bears better than Matt Eberflus.
He knows a lot about the Brewers. Maybe he knows something about the Packers. We don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I would be confident moving forward with Craig Counsell as the head coach of the Bears, honestly. I mean, I would be confident with you guys as well over Matt Eberflus. But and last point about why Ohtani's coming to the Cubs. The Cubs have a very deep farm system with more talent coming. We have plethora of pitching. We have plethora of outfielders and primetime bats. It's just a good time to be a Cubs fan. And Shohei Ohtani would definitely add to that mix. So that's my reasonings as to why Ohtani will be in Chicago. So with that being said, I want to do something fun here. Can either one of you give me a reason or a couple reasons as to why Shohei Ohtani wouldn't want to come to Chicago and he would not be a fit?
You want to go, Brandon?
Yeah, I'll go, Joe. Yeah. It kind of answers your question. It's kind of like I'm throwing a Kodai Senga ghost ball at you. You can say if you want. Let me put a scenario into your mind.
Okay.
Right now, I'm going to lay out two different paths that you can walk down, and you have to choose one path, left or right.
All right.
The left path is that the Chicago Cubs trade for Bo Bichette this offseason. They sign Pete Alonso in the 2024 to 2025 offseason when his contract is over next year. So at that point, the Cubs would have traded for Bo Bichette. They would have signed Pete Alonso, and then Bo Bichette becomes a free agent the following offseason, and the Cubs are able to re-sign Bo Bichette. So after the 2025 offseason, the Chicago Cubs are sitting pretty with Bo Bichette and Pete Alonso locked up on their team. That's the left trail. The right side is the Cubs sign Shohei Ohtani this offseason, but then Bo Bichette nor Pete Alonso are an option because of that. Which trail are you picking?
So obviously, it would be really nice to have Bo Bichette on the Cubs. He's a very good shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays. But there is a big elephant in the room. The Cubs have the best shortstop, second base duo in baseball as it is. So Bo Bichette would not be playing second base or shortstop, considering the fact that Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner just won Gold Glove. So if we do trade for Bo Bichette, he'd have to be open to playing third base. If he's not open to that, the Cubs are not trading for Bo Bichette. That's number one. Number two, Pete Alonso. Freddie Freeman, and I want to bring up Freddie Freeman here. A lot of people are saying that Pete Alonso is going to get some massive $200 million plus, contract extension or whatever. But I don't think he is. If Freddie Freeman only bagged $167 million, Pete Alonso is not going to get more than Freddie Freeman. And that's the going rate for first base. Pete Alonso is not that good of a defensive first baseman as it is. He strikes out a lot. Yes, he hits a lot of nukes, but overall, Freddie Freeman is the more dynamic player, obviously.
Right.
I think
there's no fucking doubt about it.
Yeah. So
Pete Alonso batted like 215, 220 last year.
Yeah, there's a big difference as to caliber players.
That was a down year for him, and he still had 40 home runs.
But the Cubs do need home runs, so that would be nice if we got Pete Alonso. He would definitely add to the team. But with that being said, I'm still going with Shohei Ohtani.
Okay, what if Nico Horner says, I'll play third, and Bo Bichette's okay with playing second?
There's no world where Nico Horner would move out of second base. You're not going to move a Gold Glove winning second baseman to third base. There's
No,
just
this
no
goes
way.
this goes back.
There's no way.
This kind of goes back to the whole like Eloy Jimenez DH. No, I want to play left field.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It's like at the end of the day, Nico Horn. If the Cubs decided, hey, we have a good offer on the table, the Blue Jays want to accept it. We're gonna get Bo Bichette. If the Cubs went up to Nico Horner and said, look, we're improving this team by going out and getting big time free agents, I'm pretty sure Nico Horner would say, if you need me to move at third, that's fine.
Yes.
Ultimately, as long as he has a starting position, third base is an important position. It's not like he's moving to fucking, like I said earlier, DH.
But the double play combo is very big. Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner had the most defensive runs saved in baseball from the double play ball and just everything. So that would definitely. And Bo Bichette is a respectful defender. Obviously, he's not bad by any means, but you never want to change a guy's position if he's that good at that job.
I guess my final thoughts, and Joe, I'll let you stake a claim on all of this. But my final thoughts are that the only other thing that I can think of to actually answer the question you originally asked was this surgery with Ohtani could potentially be a long-term issue. There are a lot of situations where it's not. But there are a lot of situations where it is. And you're paying Ohtani as a frontline starter and as a guy who can hit 45 bombs a year in your DH slot. So you are going to be paying Ohtani a lot of money. And because there's a lot of, I guess you can say, risk, and from the pitching side of it, if he's one of those guys that doesn't bounce back as a top of the line starter, you might still get a lot of production out of Ohtani, sure, from the batting perspective. But if you don't get the production out of the hitting side of his play, then ultimately you're really, truly overpaying the guy. Now, again, you are still bringing the Japanese market to Chicago, and ultimately the team is still going to benefit from it from a monetary perspective. But that is one concern I would have.
And that is a fair concern to have. Obviously, dishing out $500 million is a lot of money.
Louis, cut it out.
And you got to be careful when dishing out that much money. But I also want to add that it'd be easier to dish out that money to Shohei Ohtani because it's been reported that Ohtani makes a ball club on average a little over $100 million in revenue per year. So let's say Ohtani signs a 14-year, $500 million contract. Guess what? That contract is going to be paid for in damn near 5 years. So anything over that will just be surplus. So that's why I've been saying that Ohtani would be a massive investment for the Cubs. It would not only generate so much more revenue in the Japanese, viewership and all that. It was just like
imagine the amount of jersey sales.
Exactly. So that alone would be phenomenal. And going back to your risk about his throwing elbow, Shohei Ohtani's agent did come out and say that they are open to shorter term deals, like 3-year deals with an opt out after 2025. Because that's when Shohei Ohtani is going to come back and pitch. So realistically, like Shohei Ohtani could potentially sign for a shorter term with a higher AAV, which would be good for the Cubs as well, for that risk factor, of course.
Yeah, well, that's fair, but I think for sure if Ohtani is agreeing to a 3-year contract, the AAV is going to be upwards of $100,000 a year or $100 million a year for sure, 100%.
I don't know about $100 million.
Ooh, I don't know, dude. Maybe not $100 million.
All
right, maybe that's a lot, but
for 1
80
year.
80 is not out of the realm of possibility. I'm sorry to say. When you're talking AAV, a guy like Ohtani in his technical prime, contrary to what I said about his pitching hindrance, like he's gonna want for a short contract with a high AAV, he'll get up to 75 for sure.
Yeah, that's all good points, for sure. But Joe, I want to ask you if you have something to say about this. Of course, do you have a reason why Shohei Ohtani wouldn't be a good fit for Chicago?
So yeah, I think your original question is why he would and wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think that the Chicago Cubs have great culture. I think it's a great place for players to play. The fans, they either love or hate you. But a player like Ohtani, they're gonna love. Treat him like a god or a king, whatever you want to say. He's a winner. He wants to play hard. The thing that I think that why he wouldn't want to come to Chicago, and I think this is pretty much for a lot of players, is the weather. Tom Brady didn't want
that was my point too.
He could have came to Chicago, but the reason he wanted to play somewhere warm, which I don't blame the guy. He's close to retirement. But Ohtani is different. He's still young. He still has his whole career ahead of him. So I think that I don't see. I think the culture's good. I think the money's good. The fans are good. I think that's a very good possibility that he comes and plays in Chicago.
Yeah, and Joe, I'm happy you brought that up because if you didn't, I was going to bring that up. I think the one thing that's going to hinder Ohtani's decision on coming here, if he decides not to, is going to be the weather because obviously we live in Chicago. We understand how cold it gets, even in freaking April and May.
Yeah.
So a guy living in L.A. with beautiful weather year-round, having to adjust to Chicago is going to be obviously pretty difficult at first, but that was a good.
No, that's a great point, Joe. And I know we talked about that in general on like a different podcast, but something about the Midwest, something about our weather. I feel like it really does deter giant free agents from coming here. So
it does
for sure.
So that's all I got for Ohtani, and I got one other thing for the Cubs, and I'll keep it quick, but it's very important we bring this up. Will Chicago reel in another player from Japan that's not Ohtani? If you guys have been paying attention to baseball as of lately, there's a young kid in Japan that goes by the name, and excuse me if I butcher this name because it really is difficult to say, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Actually, I think that was pretty accurate, and I'm pretty surprised at myself. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto is on the open market. He was posted by the NBP Japanese team. I don't even know the name of it. I probably should have looked it up. I think maybe the Oryx Buffaloes, I believe. But this kid is the real deal. And I'm going to drop a lot of facts about this kid real quick for you. And it really is eye-opening as to how good someone can really be. He would be 100% an impact rotation help. And he would, So here we go. First, here are some facts about Yamamoto. Position, he's a right-handed pitcher. He's the starting pitcher. Height and weight, 5'10", 176 pounds. So he's not the biggest guy, but thankfully in baseball you don't need to be. He's only 25 years old, which is obviously a plus. There's a lot of room for growth. He hasn't even entered the prime of his career yet, and he's still this good. His date of birth is August 17th, 1998. So again, he's 25 years old. His team in Japan is the Oryx Buffaloes. He's played in the NPB for 7 seasons, so he has some professional experience. 7 years is a lot of experience. Japan is a well-respected league. Obviously, they won the World Baseball Classic, so obviously there's some good players out there. 2023 stats: he pitched in 23 games. He won 16-6 with a whopping 1.21 ERA, 169 Ks with 164 innings pitched. Obviously, incredible stats, right? He's won 3 straight Triple Crowns. 3 straight Triple Crowns. Only 3 major league pitchers won 3 Triple Crowns in their career, and that's the great Sandy Koufax, the great Walter Johnson, and the great Grover Cleveland Alexander. But they didn't do it in a 3-year span. They did it throughout their entire career, which is obviously still incredible. But this kid did it in 3 years. Obviously different leagues, but it's still absolutely incredible. Pitching in NPB Pacific League, Yamamoto has led the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts in each of the last 3 seasons. Yamamoto's Triple Crown run. 2021, 18-5 with a 1.39 ERA, 206 strikeouts. 2022, 15-5 with a 1.68 ERA, 205 Ks. 2023, 16-6 with a 1.21 ERA with 169 strikeouts. That was a 3-year stretch. Just totaling that up, that's a 49-16 record with a 1.44 ERA, 580 strikeouts for Yamamoto over the last 3 seasons. That's easily the most dominant run in professional baseball today, even if it's not in Major League Baseball. 3 straight Samamara Awards, NPB's equivalent to the Cy Young Award. So he's won also the Cy Young Award 3 consecutive years. He threw a no-hitter with MLB executives watching. obviously there's a lot of pressure if there's MLB executives watching, and clearly that didn't affect him. He dominated in the World Baseball Classic. He's won the WBC champion, the Olympic champion, and the NPB champion. Everywhere he's pitched, Yamamoto has won. And he reportedly or supposedly has the Kershaw curveball of Japan, and everyone knows Clayton Kershaw's curveball is damn near unhittable. Yamamoto has the stuff, command, and poise on the mound to become an ace, absolutely. His fastball sits in the mid to upper 90s, frequently reaching 98 to 99, and he's multiple wipeout secondary pitches, with splitter being his number one. If the Cubs miss out on Ohtani, they have until January 1st, I believe, to sign this guy, and I fully expect them to go all in if we cannot reel in the big fish in Ohtani. So that'd be very exciting. And also, it'd be really awesome to have another guy with Justin Steele up there. On top of it, the Cubs are also very linked to Shane Bieber and Tyler Glasnow, who are also aces in MLB. So potentially, if we don't get Ohtani, we could have 3 aces pitching in Wrigley next season. I really hope if Ohtani doesn't work out, we end up getting this kid, because that'd be incredible. And one last thing, the Cubs are expected to name Ryan Flaherty as their bench coach. Craig Counsell has got his guy. He's got his top lieutenant. Something about Flaherty, he's 37 years old. He's very young. He played in the majors from 2012 to 2019, but then quickly transitioned into coaching. The Padres hired him as a quality control coach prior to the 2020 season, and he subsequently became bench coach and offensive coordinator going into 2023. So he has some experience with a good team. Well, a team with a bunch of superstars. Wouldn't really call him a good team. But that concludes my my baseball segment. This Yamamoto kid is going to be ridiculous. And whatever team he goes to, it's going to be fun to watch. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to take in with the Cubs. There's... who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Just we got to sit back and watch. Same with the Bears. Same with the Bears. There's a lot. Next couple of years that's going to happen with the Bears.
The next couple of days, there could be some major changes in Chicago. So I cannot wait for it, and stay tuned to find out what happens, because I'll be the first one to report it.
Well, hopefully the Cubs do that. Makes them a better team, and anything to help. So.
Oh, also one last thing about this kid. He's never pitched a day in MLB, and he's expected to get a contract well over $200 million. So he's coming at a hefty price. And also, if you know anything about Japan, you got to pay a posting fee as well, which is pretty expensive. So if he does get a contract that's around $225 million that he's expected to get, you're still going to have to pay a lot more to the team for. So he's going to be a lot of money, for sure. So, that's all I got for baseball. Joe, why don't you take us into the Bears?
All right. So, the moment we've all been waiting for. So, the Bears won against the Vikings. We all predicted that the Bears were going to lose. So, the Bears won 12-10. So, which still puts the Bears in last place, believe it or not, at 4-8, their record. No. Vikings are 6-6, second in the NFC North. Which I thought this was interesting. The Bears are 3-1 on primetime games, but are 1-7 for the rest of the games. So I thought that was kind of interesting fact about the Bears. So we did not score a touchdown. All these points that were scored were all field goals. Not one touchdown was made. Bears cannot win a game by just scoring field goals. I mean, this dink and dunk stuff, you cannot just win games by scoring field goals. That's not how you win in the NFL. You have to score touchdowns. So this is the first win by scoring field goals since 1993, which I thought was insane. The first time the Bears have won with just field goals since 1993, the year I was born.
You know what, Joe? I cannot believe we won this game.
I
cannot believe we won the game.
Hey, I'm a Bears fan, but I kind of didn't want us to win either. But this is all about evaluating Justin Fields. I'll get into Justin Fields, I'll get into Luke Getsy, all that stuff later. But we need to evaluate Justin Fields properly to see if he is the guy for Chicago moving forward. So, yeah, I kind of didn't want us to win the game because, I wanted us to have a better draft pick.
Well, nobody wanted
sure.
us to win the game.
Yeah, I was very
and
upset.
We won by
I was very upset.
And I'll just say, I know I've talked to a couple people, in the last week, and there are a lot of Bears fans, and kudos to you guys. There's a lot of Bears fans that take the stance of a win's a win, and at the end of the day, they look at it as we're playing spoiler, right? We potentially buried the Vikings. I don't know if they're going to recover from that as a playoff hopeful at this point. But the way I see it, and I think you guys agree, based on what we've all talked about many times, is that we're looking towards the future. We want to see these draft picks, man, and we'll lose any way, any fashion to get that fucking.
But Brandon, also. Just to go off of what you said and add some more, the Bears obviously upset the Vikings by winning. We did play spoiler in this game. I think this is going to affect the Vikings moving forward, but I wouldn't have personally been that upset if the Bears showed up and dominated and just played an overall solid football game.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah. Like if we won in that fashion, I would have taken it and I would have accepted it. But
I would have been happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have been happy.
But the fact that, like, I'll easily say, and there's been a lot of pathetic games. I think this may have been the most pathetic game of football I've ever watched in my life. So the fact that the Bears ended up winning that game, potentially lowering us in the draft, hurts more.
In all fairness, I do see it that way as well, right? If the Bears came out and dominated and just destroyed the Vikings in a convincing fashion, we'd all be sitting here right now saying that was fucking amazing to see. However, the Vikings didn't want to win that game either. They came out in the first half through 3 picks. Jalen Johnson, for the second week in a row, had the easiest pick six.
Proving that he's not worth
he had the easiest pick six opportunity and fumbled the ball. Not literally, but figuratively. So, it's hard to gauge because either way, the Vikings didn't want to win that game either, no matter how you look at it. So, and since we're talking about statistics, Joe, and I'm going to let you continue. I just think I have a very interesting statistics about Justin Fields, seeing as we're probably going to talk about draft picks later. Shout out to John from work, the Big Oz. He mentioned this. He mentioned this to me, and I really did want to share with you guys. Justin Fields has had, I believe the number was 35 fumbles. Like in terms of like I think it's since 2021, or it may just be amongst active quarterbacks. I can't remember the exact time frame on it, but either way, Justin Fields is leading all active quarterbacks since I want to say 2021 with 35 fumbles.
35 fumbles.
35 fumbles. The second most. The quarterback with the second most amount of fumbles is Trevor Lawrence with 28 in that time frame. And at least Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback.
Yeah, hold on to the damn ball.
So why do you think that is? Why? I know why it is. Why he's fumbling the ball so much? Because he runs with the both times that he fumbled the ball against the Vikings is when he took off running with the ball.
Because he's too one-dimensional.
Dude, like
he runs the ball too much.
Dude, the thing with Fields is that he wants to run the ball more than he wants to throw the ball. I feel like that's how I feel. And when you're not a running back and you run the ball like you try to be a running backs know how to hold the ball correctly. They have the right arm strength. Dude, people are like Peanut Tillman punching the ball out of Justin Fields. I mean, you saw it twice against the Vikings.
Yeah.
That's why he fumbles the ball so much.
Yeah.
Because he tries to run. He's extremely fast. I think he's extremely athletic as a quarterback. But, dude, you got to be able to pass the ball. I mean, which I think he can at times. But I think the part I think he struggles with is when to get rid of the ball really. Like, he needs to know when to get rid of the ball to, like, like a receiver or to throw the ball away or, just... I mean,
you know what I've noticed about Justin Fields? He's also afraid to take a hit. Like, for a guy that runs all the time, like it's kind of controversial to say that, but I've seen it real time while I'm watching these games. There's so many situations where Justin Fields in the pocket is looking around and scanning the field, and there's a guy who's open like that last second, right? Like I've seen it so many times where that one receiver, whether it's Moore, Mooney, whomever, they do finally find a way to get open as the pocket is collapsing. And Justin Fields has proven that he's not the kind of guy that'll sit in the pocket, get that throw out, and take a hit for his team. He doesn't do that. If he senses any small amount of pressure in the pocket, his first thought is, I'm leaving the pocket, I'm running.
So maybe he's trying to do too much.
He's trying to do too much. I also think that could be attributed to two things. I think it's a combination of Justin Fields it's a combination of Justin Fields trusting his legs more than he trusts his arm. So I feel like there's a lack of self-confidence there with him actually throwing the ball with accuracy. But I also think it could have something to do with the play calling, where the play calling isn't putting him in a position to throw the ball as often. And they are play calling situations where he there are option plays where he is set to scramble or just throw dink and dunks all game like we just saw, and they're not really motivating him or putting trust in him to make those plays. But I think something's got to give, right? Like either Justin Fields needs to gain do you guys remember week 2 when Justin Fields was criticized up the fucking wazoo for that performance against Green Bay? And then in the second game, week one, yeah. and then in the coming weeks, Justin Fields said, "Look, I need to stop being robotic. I need to trust myself. I need
week 4 or 5."
Yeah, he's like, "I need to start throwing the fucking ball." What happened to that? We're at week 12, and Justin Fields isn't throwing the ball anymore. It's just like we're back at fucking week 1.
So I think Luke Getsy tried to plan against the Vikings blitz. That's why he had Justin Fields throw the ball so much. Throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage so much.
But this is every game, Joe. You're right. But
it's also Fields too. You have to know, did you see that one play where he tried to throw the ball and he threw it right at the defensive end and it hit the guy in the hand and he almost intercepted the ball.
Yeah.
Dude, that's him reading Justin Fields' job at reading the defense and knowing when to throw a screen and when not to throw a screen, and that's his problem, man. They only called 13 screen passes, and I think, so the rest of the plays were 7 of the plays was Justin Fields deciding to throw behind the line of scrimmage, which obviously was wrong.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors to it, Joe. I mean, I think first of all, we can't ignore. We can't ignore the O-line's performance. Early in that game, Lucas Patrick went down. The Bears were looking pretty good on the O-line. Lucas Patrick goes down. Tevin Jenkins was roughed up, I think, in the first quarter. Right away.
Special teams.
Yeah, on a fucking special. I remember talking to you about that. That was ridiculous. So right away, early in the game, the O-line was a little bit compromised. That could have had something to do with it. But look, I'm going to sound like an idiot right now. That's fine. I'm willing to take that leap. Joe, I've played a lot of football in my life. Not organized, but I have. I also have played a lot of Madden in my life. And Joe, if you have a team that is blitzing you constantly, predictably, just blitzing you time and time again, what is your objective? You want to open up the field. You want to make the field longer so that they have to adjust to you. And I think what the Bears should be doing is in a situation where the blitz is very predictable, Justin Fields, first of all, needs to trust his arm. The O-line needs to get it together. And guys like DJ Moore, guys like Mooney, guys like Komet need to fucking run a route down the field, and Field needs to throw the ball up and let them make a fucking play. Because if they're blitzing, that means there's way less guys in the backfield. So you send your guys into the backfield and you fucking make a big play. There were not any big plays made by the Bears. There may have been one play that exceeded 15 yards, and that was the goddamn play that DJ Moore brought the ball in so we could eventually win that game that we didn't even want to win. So my point is, Joe, to your point, there was a lot of blitzing. I get it. You got to play to that. But I think there's a good way to play to that. I don't know if that's Fields' fault or if that's Getsy's fault, but I would have played it differently. I'm sorry to say.
So you know what the problem is that I've seen is that Fields' weakness is blitzing when they blitz with him. because he doesn't have enough time to read the defense and he has to think quickly. And we all know this, that he has to kind of process things slower.
He's afraid to take a hit, like I said
He's
earlier.
afraid to take a hit, but he also processes things. He's trying to process too much information at once. Like, dude, like if you gave Fields a test and like sat him down and he had all the time in the world, he'd probably like slaughter the test like versus all the other quarterbacks. He's a really smart dude.
Right.
But the problem with him is that he's trying to process too much information at once, and he like when things come at him quick like a blitz, it's hard for him to like know what to do. Another problem with Luke Getsy is calling plays to counter a blitz, because all he did was call plays behind the lines of he called 13 screen passes. He called 3 screen passes in a row that were the same thing again, right, which he's done like 2 or 3 times now since this year, 2023, which is absurd that you would, that you continue to do this.
It's laughable. Andrew, remember when we used to play Madden with Richie all the time, and we would constantly go to the fucking screen pass? Why? Because it's easy. It's a video game, but it's an easy way to just set up. It's just an easy play to run, and it doesn't take a lot of skill. Really, what it boils down to is get your blockers in the right position. The quarterback essentially has no skill in this play. He's throwing the ball a dime right to a guy who's maybe 20 feet to the left of him, and then at that point it's just reading the defense and getting that block. So
Brandon,
that's right.
Brandon, the problem is that normally screens work pretty good and you could get good yardage off of it, but when the defense knows you're calling a screen,
it doesn't, like 21 times
it does not work. And the Vikings defense knew when they were calling screens.
That's my
and also
but we knew that they were blitzing. So both teams had huge mental lapses.
There's other things
because it also doesn't help that
the Vikings were nonstop blitzing, and the Bears still decided to run a screen every time. And running a screen on a blitz isn't always a bad thing to do. You get all those, your front 7, your front 6 is all engulfed at the quarterback. So that leaves only 5 defensive backs to get this guy. So a screen is smart. But the only thing I'll say is the Bears are stupid too, because what I'm trying to say is it's a double-edged sword. The Bears if the Bears know that the Vikings are blitzing, the Bears need to predict that and make adjustments. On the flip side, if the Vikings know that the Bears are going to throw screens, then why do we keep fucking calling it?
It also doesn't help the fact that our wide receiver 2 has 350 yards on the season, only 1 touchdown catch. So that right there is a big issue, because Cole Kmet's not gonna have an impact on every single play. DJ Moore can only do so much, and also the O-line has been also kind of messed up throughout the year because everyone keeps on getting injured. So I think that also kind of comes into play on what is happening.
And I'm sorry for being so emotional, but fuck, man.
Well, there's other plays you could call besides screen passes. I mean, you could get the run game going. Right. So this is what Kurt Warner had to say, which I thought was pretty interesting. So you try to combat the blitz with horizontal passing. He said there's a million different ways you could combat the blitz other than horizontal passing. Some of the ways that I looked up: slants, jet sweeps, pivots, hot routes for counter blitzing. I mean, and he's just and every time the way they decided to do it was screen passes.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Don't you think that the Bears would, or excuse me, not even the Bears, obviously the Bears, but Justin Fields in general would be greatly benefited if we had another dynamic wide receiver? Because I think we could all fairly agree on Darnell Mooney. He's not our wide receiver 2. He should not be a wide receiver 2. I think you said that he should be our wide receiver 3.
I think he should be our slot.
Yeah, or slot, yeah.
Well,
he can make an impact. But the fact that Mooney's our number 2 alongside DJ Moore, we need another guy. Why not go out and get Marvin Harrison?
Andrew, do you think that Darnell Mooney would be a number 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles?
All right, but
the 49ers.
Okay. those two teams that you just said, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, are two of the best quarterbacks in the league. So automatically, receivers are going to be better because of the quarterbacks that are throwing to them, right?
Oh, so you're calling Fields not a good quarterback? Is that what you're trying to say?
All right, no, absolutely.
I'm saying
dude,
that.
No.
I'm definitely saying that.
You can't.
I'm saying that.
I'm definitely saying that.
You can't fucking compare.
So
you can't compare fucking Fields to Jalen Hurts and
that proves my point.
You can't compare anyone in the league to fucking Patrick Mahomes. Why are we going to compare fucking Justin Fields to Patrick Mahomes?
Is that I think Darnell Mooney is
name one guy that's on Patrick Mahomes' level.
I think
Jalen Hurts, he's not.
Look, I think
Mahomes is on a whole nother level.
I think Mooney is an ideal slot receiver. I think Mooney's a small receiver, a speedy receiver. He's agile,
as a wide receiver too.
No, because he's so small. Like if you put Mooney on the outside, then these cornerbacks in this league are big. You're gonna get you got Mooney, who's I'm just guessing he's probably 5'10", 5'11" tops. You put a 6'2" fucking cornerback on him, he's gonna struggle on the long passes.
Think of how much Justin Fields would benefit if we got a AJ Brown-esque player.
Dude, you put Mooney, a guy that agile, a guy that versatile, in the fucking slot 5'10". As our third receiver, 5'10".
Yeah, that only works out if you have a dynamic 1 and 2 punch. So we need a guy like AJ Brown.
What about Antonio Brown?
Hence freaking Marvin Harrison Jr.
What about Antonio Brown? He was a number 1. He was only 5'10", and he was one of the greatest wide receivers ever. Even though he kind of had some mental problems, but he still was a good receiver for the Bucs and the Steelers.
Yeah, but Darnell Mooney's not Antonio Brown.
No, I agree with that. But I think that Darnell Mooney in 2021 was ranked number 24 out of all receivers, and he was a number 1.
Yeah, but you got to do that on a consistent basis. You can't be doing that only one season.
That was
still
also
be considered a good wide receiver.
In all fairness, that was also before we had DJ Moore. And back in 2021, who else did we have? What other receivers did we have other than Mooney?
Academius St. Brown.
Trash.
We had no one. We had
exactly. So somebody's got to get it right. If Mooney's the only fucking wide receiver on a team, even if he was listed at, and that's proof right there how abysmal the Bears were. If Mooney is considered a wide receiver 2, but he was like our wide receiver 1 because of our lack of depth, then. First of all, yes, Mooney's going to get the volume. Yes, Mooney's going to get the receptions. Yes, he's going to get the yardage because he was our only option.
Hey, who is Patrick Mahomes' wide receiver number 1?
Travis Kelce.
That he's not a wide receiver. I said wide receiver 1.
I mean, Travis Kelce.
No, that's listed as a wide receiver 1 right now.
Well, he had Hill for a while. And yes, Hill was a short guy.
Tony is his wide. Technically, on paper right now, Tony is listed as his wide receiver 1, and we all know how good that guy is.
That's fair, but to play devil's advocate, let's take the Kansas City Chiefs as they are, and let's give Mahomes DJ Moore. And Marvin Harrison Jr.
I totally agree with you, Brandon.
Wow.
Can you imagine DJ Moore on the Kansas City Chiefs? Would he not look like Tyreek Hill probably or Jamar Chase? 100%. And you're calling DJ Moore not an elite good receiver. He would look, if he was on the Kansas City Chiefs right now, he would look like Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase, you name it.
DJ Moore is definitely in the elite status, I think, of wide receiver. He just needs a consistent, good quarterback for sure. But DJ Moore also needs help.
That's the problem.
DJ Moore also needs help.
The Chiefs had some good receivers over the years. I mean, they had. I mean, look, okay. I'm not gassing up some of these guys. Okay, they had Sammy Watkins. They had McCole Hardman. What the Chiefs had was a lot of fucking speed.
All I know is that Patrick Mahomes throws the ball right in these receivers' hands and they drop it. Okay, moving on. So let's say that we get a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's say that we get a center, which we need, and let's say that we get an elite edge rusher, and let's say we get a new offensive coordinator, or not an offensive coordinator. Let's say Jim Harbaugh is our head coach, that's kind of what everyone wants right now. Okay, so right now Justin Fields is ranked as QB 23rd. He's ranked 23rd amongst all the QBs right now in the NFL, which I totally think that's where he belongs. 23rd sounds right to me. We get all that. Where do you think he falls into place as a quarterback?
If we do all of that, if we get a new offensive coordinator, a respectful freaking head coach, Marvin Harrison, and an actual good center, because Whitehair and Lucas Patrick sucks.
Yes.
I think that would pay absolute freaking dividends. I know,
so do you think
I think he'd easily be top 15.
So I think
if that happens, if all that happens, he'd be top 15.
I think that,
and I could say that with the utmost confidence.
What do you think, Brandon? Do you think he'd be top 15?
Justin Fields.
Part of the reason why Justin Fields is so bad is because of the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Let's be honest. Think of we just went on and on and on about the play calling.
Why is CJ Stroud good?
We just went on about how bad the play calling is.
Explain to me why
At some
CJ Stroud
point,
is
yes, Justin Fields has to throw the ball better, but if the coaches aren't freaking calling the correct plays and they're setting Fields up for failure, like we just said, the Vikings knew every fucking play that was happening in that game.
The defense.
So why did Luke Getsky continue to call a screen pass?
I think that Luke Getsy doesn't trust Justin Fields throwing the ball.
I don't think he does at all.
And I think that's why he called.
Well, that's an issue. Why don't you trust your guy? The Bears went out and said that this is the most important stretch of Justin Fields' career. So instead of letting the dude ball out and throw the ball down the field and take gambles and chances, where you're just gonna evaluate the guy by dumping the fucking ball, what sense does that make? That's why I'm so adamant about the Bears cannot draft another quarterback.
I think Luke Getsy's
because we'd be taking a step back.
And he's trying to be really conservative right now.
Luke Getsky has to fucking go.
I know.
Eberflus has to fucking go.
I know. I said this to you guys earlier, but
I would take the.
It's very uncomfortable being
anyone.
It's very uncomfortable being a fucking Bears fan right now because look, to Joe's point, I don't have any faith left in Justin Fields. I'm sorry, I don't think he has no confidence. He's not a great leader. His accuracy is terrible.
It's not as good as we thought it was.
You know what? But I almost feel like maybe there's a world where we do hang on to Fields and we do put those pieces around him.
You know what I think?
We do see what happens because it's so uncomfortable. First of all, I hate the idea of us being able to have Fields and have to spend a number 1 or number 2 pick on a quarterback.
That'd be fucking terrible.
That'd be terrible. It's just a waste of a pick ultimately because we're just the pick that we used on Fields, even though he was drafted 11th overall. Either way, like you're he was your guy, and you're still wasting that first round pick.
But he wasn't Poles' guy. He wasn't Poles' guy. He was Matt Nagy's guy. He was Ryan Pace's guy, not Ryan Poles, and not Matt Eberflus' guy.
I'm not sure how true this is, but the team president of the Chicago Bears, there's rumors speculating that he doesn't.
Kevin Warren.
Yeah. He has lost, quote unquote, faith and trust in Ryan Poles as well as the offensive coordinator and the head coach. So there is it's probably a small possibility, but there's a possibility that Ryan Poles is gone.
I don't think there's no fucking way. After the trade, let's be honest, the only true, the real impact that Ryan Poles has made was that trade where we acquired DJ Moore and got all. But
it was a no-brainer trade. It wasn't like, he did such a good job.
No, he worked. As far as I know, he worked his ass off to make sure that we got DJ Moore. He said to Carolina,
Absolutely.
who we knew was a desperate team who needed a quarterback and needed a number 1 pick.
A desperate team.
It doesn't matter.
Teams do desperate measures.
It doesn't matter. I don't think every. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if everybody would have secured DJ Moore in that situation, and he did. And DJ Moore is a fucking stud. So I think Ryan Poles' short tenure with the Bears has looked good. If you just simply evaluate it on that trade, which is something I'm willing to do. Look, Ryan Poles isn't down there in the fucking trenches. That's why Ryan Poles, came in here at the same time as fucking Getsy, around the same time. And who's Ryan Poles to come in and immediately fire a guy who also just got hired? He didn't even see what fucking Getsy had in the tank. So, or Eberflus for that matter, both of those guys. So I'm not pinning this on Poles at all. I think what Poles needs to do is he needs to... Jesus Christ. I think he needs to keep Fields. I think he needs to go out there, get some free agents because we have all this money to spend. We need to fucking draft a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. We need to, like I said, we need to spend that money on maybe shoring up our O-line just a little bit more, maybe our defense, 1 or 2 more pieces. And we need to get new head coach and new offensive coordinator.
All right, so you just talked about how Ryan Poles did such a good job on that trade.
Now I want to say one thing, Andrew. I'm sorry. I just need to get one more thing out. Joe, you are so adamant about us getting rid of Fields.
Yeah.
I'm with you, dude. Listen. The only reason why I'm so goddamn apprehensive to do that is because, like I said earlier in our private group chat, I think that you don't see guys like C.J. Stroud come around that often. It's generational talents like C.J. Stroud. It's once every decade. So if we draft a guy like May or if we draft a guy like Williams, you have to assume that even if they do reach stardom, it will take them a couple years. And at this point,
we don't have a couple years.
We as Bears fans don't want to wait anymore. So I'm stuck in a spot where, do I want to have Fields on this team next year? Absolutely not. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of looking at his face. I'm seriously
Every
sick.
Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm sick and tired of seeing him just look sad all the time and not have those leadership qualities you want to see out of a quarterback. But I don't want to see the rebuild start from scratch again by getting a guy like Williams, because you know that's going to happen. So I myself, good luck to Ryan Poles. Very tough situation for him.
All right.
Whatever happens, I'm not happy.
So we talked about what Ryan Poles did good for the Bears in that first pick, right? Why not let's bring up the shitty things he did for the Bears as well?
I'm not defending Ryan Poles.
That I agree. I'm not either. How about the coaching staff that he brought with him?
Yeah.
What a absolute mistake that was.
Chase Claypool.
Yeah. I was just about to bring that up. What about Chase Claypool, who he got compared to a vending machine on the field? We gave up a second-round pick for that guy, and that second-round pick is doing pretty damn good.
What if Chase Claypool was ahead of his curve?
You don't think the Bears could have used that second-round pick to fulfill a need for the team?
Did you not hear what I said earlier?
That cornerback.
In 2021, we had Darnell Mooney and Equanimous St. Brown, dude. We didn't have receivers.
But we had DJ Moore already. He already made the trade, and then we got Chase Claypool. We didn't need Chase Claypool. Claypool wasn't even that good with the Steelers. Look, so you're going to give up a second-round pick when no one else in the league would have gave up a second-round pick?
But that was with
no one would have gave up a second-round pick for Claypool there. We got
Chase Claypool was kind of a hot commodity at the time. There were a lot of teams that were trying to acquire him.
Packers tried to. They offered the same thing, but they went with us because they figured that they would have a better
Chase Claypool
with the Bears.
Chase Claypool
thought right.
Had some intrigue from a lot of teams because of what he did with the Steelers, and there was always that speculation.
How he was showboating
and listen,
with the clock running down.
That was always always speculation that there was an old Ben Roethlisberger throwing to Claypool. There was always what was his name, Williams on he was always overshadowed as the second guy. Chase Claypool, I get it. I kind of disagree. I don't think it was the worst trade ever. And I give credit to Chase Claypool in that, yes, he has not had success with the Dolphins, what have you, but ultimately the guy acknowledged and realized how shitty of an organization he was playing for after he came here.
So trading a second-round pick for Chase Claypool wasn't a terrible pick, or wasn't a terrible trade.
At the time, because Justin
Fields, it doesn't matter about at the time.
Now, looking
right now, was it a good trade?
Absolutely not.
It was a terrible trade, and everyone's going to remember the fact that Ryan Poles traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. That's all people are going to recall. They're not going to think of, Chase Claypool back with the Steelers was a formidable freaking wide receiver.
Okay, so you have an old Ben Roethlisberger who's at the tail end of his career, who's not good anymore, throwing to you for many years. Then you get traded to the Bears, and you're stuck with Justin Fields throwing to you. If you're Chase Claypool, you're not going to be fucking frustrated. From that perspective, I do not blame Chase Claypool for being frustrated.
You're right, 100%. But I'm just saying, overall, it was a miserable trade that should not have been done.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, but it's a big deal. The Bears could have used that second round pick.
He
So
didn't
that
even try.
goes against Ryan Poles.
He didn't block.
How you look at it, if it made sense at the time, it goes against Ryan Poles 100%, and you can't argue that. So that makes Ryan Poles look bad in that aspect. Ryan Poles also looks terrible because of who he hired. Looks terrible there, too. So, yes, he made one good trade, but he's also had some things starting to stockpile on him. That's my opinion. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll be back next season, and I'm not arguing that because I believe he will, but...
And the whole thing with Roquan Smith, lying to him and saying that he wants to build around Roquan Smith and gave him away. Obviously that wasn't a great deal either. So,
But yeah, I would not want to be Ryan Poles in this situation because no matter what Ryan Poles does moving forward after this season, if he sticks with Fields, if he ends up drafting Williams or May, there's going to be a lot of flack on both sides. And, it's hopefully whatever decision he makes works out because I'll tell you what, if he makes a decision to draft a quarterback and that quarterback does not end up being a serviceable quarterback, guess what? He's going to be fired and he's going to be looked at as one of the worst freaking GMs of all time to go down the list with the Bears. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, I agree. But so let me ask you this. So game-winning drive. You have to pick between two people. And it's Luke Getsy
Tom Brady
and Matt Nagy. Unfortunately, you can't pick Tom Brady, but Luke Getsy and Matt Nagy.
Nagy all day.
For sure.
I agree 100%. That tells me right there that Luke Getsy should not be on the Bears anymore.
I mean, he took Trubisky in that team almost deep into the playoffs.
Twice.
Minus the double doink.
And
take away the double doink. I think we're going all the fucking way that year, dude.
And also one other thing. I think people forget that Nagy actually had a winning record with the Bears over his tenure. He went 34-31. I mean...
Yeah, and one rookie coach of the year.
Like, obviously, we all know how that ended up, Nagy being fired and stuff, but I think looking back on it, I don't think we deserved... Gave him enough time. Seriously, I think Nagy in this situation would have been far better than Eberflus and Getsy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Getsy only got picked because they thought that he was going to be able to turn Justin Fields into Aaron Rodgers. That's what I honestly feel like why they picked Luke Getsy.
But I mean, you shouldn't what Cam Newton said. I brought this up before. Just let Justin Fields play his own game. Don't try and create him into something that he's not. Like how could you go in there and be like, oh, I'm going to turn Justin Fields into one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? Automatically, you're losing there because there are not many quarterbacks in the league history that are like Aaron Rodgers. Simple as that.
Yeah. Well,
and obviously running running is a strength for Justin Fields. So you could figure out a way that's smart to utilize his capabilities.
So Andrew, I could tell you why that I think that's a bad idea is because he has missed 10 games due to injury.
Well, those injuries are stockpiling.
His chance of injury for 2023 was 89% according to Draft Sharks, which Patrick Mahomes was 25%.
Joe, do you mind if you say that again?
So his chance of injury in 2023, before the season even started, was 89%.
Oh, that's for the entire season. Okay.
Yes. That he was going to get injured and miss games, and they had him projected to miss 2.5 games, which he missed 4.
I think it does make sense. Anytime you look at a run-first type quarterback, automatically you're going to be hit more, you're going to have more impact, so that just leads to overall more injuries.
So Draft Sharks also had his injury per game at 12.2%, that he will get injured. And they also consider Justin Fields right now as a very high-risk player for getting injured. So I thought that was interesting. So, I can go on. Like I said, right now he's ranked 23rd amongst all the QBs in the NFL out of 32, which I think is 100% accurate. I think he's 23rd. I think that, and I wanted to get back to if you put those players around Fields, like I said, Jim Harbaugh as the head coach / offensive coordinator, what have you. You get a center, you draft a really good center, you get a good edge rusher, an elite edge rusher, and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that bumps Fields up in rank to probably 15 15,
Yes,
16.
yes, and I did say that. I think.
You said top 15.
Yeah,
Yep.
I said top
So-
15 or 15. But
I can't believe he's ranked 23. I would assume
Yeah.
it's worse.
Hey, and this
There's
is
a lot of bad
this is
quarterbacks
just
right now.
just for
That's what I was
this
gonna
is
say.
just for fun right now. But who do you think's the worst quarterback in the league? Mac Jones. Is that fair?
No.
Mac Jones is pretty freaking
Let me
bad.
think here.
He's pretty bad.
The worst.
Honestly, I got to go with Mac Jones or Zach
He doesn't
Wilson.
really have any
Zach
wide
Wilson or
receivers,
Mac
so.
Jones.
Yeah, I mean, you just
Not
got to
Zach
think of the bad
Wilson
teams. I
either.
mean,
I don't think Zach
there's
Wilson
there's
either.
obviously a trend in the NFL.
They're-
Bad quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks equals bad teams. So if you look at the bottom of the standings, you got New England. All right, Mac Jones. You got
Bryce Young.
right. Yeah, exactly. Bryce Young. Daniel Jones was terrible, and now you got Tommy DeVito. But actually, DeVito's been playing well.
Yeah,
They
I would
got another
rank
win.
him as worst, to be honest, right now. But he's been, like you said, playing pretty well.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think Mac Jones is a safe bet.
I'm sure
with
he's
it.
up there, but
Down there, I guess.
he was drafted. Yeah, right down there. But he was drafted the same year Fields was. I mean, like the first year, Mac Jones looked the best out of any of them.
Yeah, Mac
the
Jones
first
looked
year.
good.
Then after the first year, kind of went downhill, and they kept, Bailey Zappi,
Yeah.
swapping them back and forth. I don't think Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be like a solid backup for years to come in the league. But I don't. To be honest, man, I don't know. Gardner Minshew, maybe. I know he's not very good, but I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of options. They're all like once it gets to like 18 and up, they're all pretty much around the same.
Yeah,
I think.
and don't forget, there's
not-
been so many quarterback injuries that there are so many, and that you got to remember, Justin Fields is ranked 23 on a season where there's been so many like huge quarterback injuries that have caused backups to jump into that role and play. So
Secret Bayesian man.
I think he would do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up. Joe's about to go on a
anyways.
fucking tangent.
I thought Matt Eberflus overall, though. I thought he called the defense pretty well, man. To be honest with
He
you.
did. Also,
Yeah.
Dobbs had the worst game of his career,
Four
probably, and that
Dude.
fairy tale is definitely over after that game.
Dude, how do you? That's what I want to know. How do you get 4 turnovers, the Bears, and only score 9 points from the 4 turnovers? That's all they scored was 9 points from the turnovers.
That's called
Yep.
a really bad team.
Yeah, no kidding.
that's called a bunch of screen passes and no creativity.
It's called a terrible offensive coordinator.
But I mean, that's pretty much. I kind of talked to you guys in person about. I could rip through this really quick. Fields was 27 for 37 for receptions, 217 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 12 rushing attempts for 59 rushing yards, 2 fumbles for loss. So we went over the injury stuff. So QBR right now is 41.9 versus the Vikings. Overall, it's 44.5, which is not good at all. Completion percentage is 73. Overall, 61%. Passer rating 87.3 versus the Vikings. Overall is 83.1, which is not good. Did have a game-winning drive with a 36-yard pass to DJ Moore, but it was more like, I think it was like a 25-yard pass, yard pass, and then DJ Moore, got like 10 yards after the catch. But it set up the game-winning field goal for Santos.
And Santos missed that easy freaking kick.
Yeah, that was not good, but he made up for it for the rest
He
of them.
did. He did.
Average NFL QBR is 50. Fields is 44.5. He's below average.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl caliber is 75. Fields is below average pretty much on everything.
Yeah.
So if you drop back, I've said this before, and spike the ball into the ground on every play, your QBR would be 39. Fields is 44.5. So, it's almost right there. Average passer rating is 93.6. Fields has an average passer rating of 83.1. 100 plus is usually considered Pro Bowl caliber, with 158.3 passer rating considered perfect. I just thought that was some interesting facts. That Fields is basically below average on everything.
Well, yeah, it was pretty obvious.
But yeah, that's. The Bears play the Lions. I'm not going to do a score prediction this week. We'll do one next week for this. Versus the Lions, but they play on the December 10th at noon at Soldier Field. So
Yep.
we'll talk about that next week.
Yep. I'll tell you what. I definitely have the Lions winning that game.
I
Sure.
hope the Lions win that game.
Well, they better
Sorry
fucking
to
win
say,
that game.
Chicago, but-
Yeah, they better win that game. But yeah, Joe, is that all you got for the Bears?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much.
Does anyone else have anything about the Bears that you want to talk about? We're good?
Good.
Alrighty. Well, tonight we're going to do something fun for you guys, and I'm very excited for this. Boys, I hope you guys are excited as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to do our very first ever Chicago Bears trivia night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
So, if you guys end up liking this segment, let us know if we should continue doing this. Obviously, we want to hear some feedback for you guys. But, rules of the game. I'm going to be the one hosting the game, so it's going to be between Brandon and Joe. So, these two are going head-to-head, shot for shot, quite literally. You have 15 seconds to answer the question. All right? So, you have some time to think about it. Both contestants will write down their answer and will reveal what they wrote after 15 seconds. There will be a total of 21 questions. Whoever has more points... What?
No, that's a lot of questions.
Whoever has more points by the end of the game is the winner. And guess what? You might want to try, because this isn't just for fun. Whoever loses this trivia game is, guess what? Taking a shot of Malort, baby!
Fuck.
Let's
Let
go.
me win, buddy.
So there's a potential that Brandon is taking 2 tonight, which would be terrible for sure. But and Joe, you may be joining us. So
Yeah.
we all very well may be taking a shot today.
This would be first time in Chicago Brewed sports history.
All right. So how do you guys want to do this? Since I'm sitting in the middle, both of you hide your answers. Obviously, I'll time
I
the
can see your whole sheet, Brandon.
yeah. I'll time the
Don't-
15
don't,
seconds, or
don't
do
have
a
wandering-
better job of
Don't have wandering eyes,
Do
Joe.
a better job of hiding your answers, and when the 15 seconds is up, or when you both are done, reveal your answers to the camera as well as to
So,
me.
Joe, we'll hold it up like this, or what?
Yeah.
So you'll hold it
Yeah,
up
you
like
can
that.
see that pretty well.
You'll hold it up like that, and then show me right afterwards. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm setting the stopwatch. Boys, are you ready?
No.
Are you ready to rumble, dude?
Let's go.
Alrighty. Chicago Bears trivia. First question coming at you. After I'm done asking the
Are you
question.
keeping track?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
After I'm done asking the question, I got to pull up my notes so I could keep score. But after I'm done asking the question, the 15 seconds will start immediately.
Okay.
Alrighty, I have my
And it's
notes.
one at a time, and then we show it, and then,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So, first question, number 1. George Papahalis coached the Bears for how many seasons?
Man.
Think legendary coach for the Bears before Mike Ditka. Time's up.
I said 20.
I said 40.
The answer is 40.
Whoa! No way.
The answer is 40.
You're fucking kidding.
Swear to God. Answer is 40.
Holy shit.
I mean, was that a
Smart
pure
from
guess?
I swear to God.
Or was that like an
I
educated
I
guess?
swear to God. It was an educated guess, but I haven't done research and shit.
Okay.
It was like I knew it was a lot of years.
Alrighty, so Brandon with one. Actually, we'll just tell the total afterwards.
So question for you. Let's say I said 39. How are we scoring that?
I'm not giving you it. It's either you know it. It's either you know it or
So it counts as a blank.
Joe, I got lucky as fuck.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Brandon's off to a good start. Number 2, who recorded 680? Excuse me. Who recorded 680 tackles in his first 4 seasons for the Chicago Bears?
Brian Urlacher.
Yes, sir. Both of you are correct. So because both of you are correct there, I'm just going to leave the point total. Actually, I'll do it for both. Joe, 1.
So we're 2-1.
Brandon, 2. Okay.
Well, it should be just 1 and 0, right? Because it equals out.
Yeah, but I'm sure you're gonna want to know how many questions you got right. So
Yeah,
I'll just do both. Okay. So, number 3. What uniform number did the Bears retire for the late great Walter Payton?
Really? I almost said it out loud, but 34.
Joe, you're getting a little antsy over there.
Let's see. 34. Is that a 39, buddy?
No, it's.
I'm
a
kidding.
4.
I'm kidding.
Come on,
I'm kidding. I'm
asshole.
kidding.
Come on, everyone knows 4s kind of look like 9s.
I like these easy questions. That first one was wild.
I can't believe you got that one.
It was a guess.
Yeah,
I went with an even
Dude, I
number.
actually I
that's
knew he
fucking
coached
ridiculous.
the team, but I didn't know it was that long.
All right.
I just knew that football was different back in the day.
Yeah. Question number 4. Who was the only team to beat the 1985 Bears?
Oh, man.
Oh, I know this.
That's easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Dolphins. I had to think. I was like, was it the Patriots? But no, they played them in the bowl.
Question number 5. What uniform number did the Bears retire for the NFL great Brian Piccolo?
I have no idea.
41. You're 10 off, Joe. The answer was 41. So there are some easy ones. There are some difficult
That
ones.
was a total guess.
All right.
Same, Joe. I was worried for a second. You were kind of confident there. I was like, fuck.
Which Chicago Bear was a bona fide track star and an Olympian? And 5 seconds. You're out of time.
Totally guessed.
Reveal them. No and no. The answer was Willie Gault.
Damn it. I said Walter Payton.
So I'm telling you, there are some easy ones. There are some difficult ones. Obviously, if you get some of the difficult ones, you're probably going to end up winning this thing. Like you being lucky with the first one, that's ridiculous. But moving on. Question number 7. What was the original name of the Chicago Bears cheerleaders?
Another guess.
Oilers. Chicago Cubs.
I actually respect that answer because it makes sense. But
I forgot they're
both of you are wrong. Honestly, I thought one of you would have definitely gotten this one. Is the Honey Bears?
No fucking idea.
Okay.
Didn't even cross my fucking mind.
So we are definitely on a cold streak right now. Hopefully, one of you guys get this. I mean, you guys should get this. I would imagine. Question number 8. Who did the Bears draft in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft? Both are incorrect. The answer is Roquan Smith.
Oh,
Damn it!
I thought it was Mitch Trubisky.
Damn it!
That was 2017.
Fuck!
Damn it!
Damn it.
When was Kyle Fuller drafted, dude?
Alrighty, again,
Oh, man.
another question you guys should get. Number 9. What uniform number did Rex Grossman wear for the Chicago Bears?
I think I got this one, hopefully.
Guys, done?
Yeah.
Reveal them.
I said 8.
Answer is 8.
Oh! Let's fucking go, dude. Another guess. I just felt
Damn,
that
dude,
one in my
I'm
gut, dude.
fucked. How many more questions are left?
We're on question number 10.
Oh shit, I'm out of paper.
I got some time to redeem myself here.
Hold on, Andrew. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
You have some time to redeem yourself.
Fucking 8, yeah, that's right.
Bro, what the?
9 was Robbie Gold's number, I think, actually. Now that I think about it.
Just start writing.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 10. What NFL season did the Bears make the Super Bowl against the Colts? 15 seconds.
What NFL season?
What NFL season did the Bears make the Super Bowl against the Colts? Reveal. Both correct. Question number 11. How many road wins did the Bears have in 2016? Think back to 2016. This was before Trubisky. You, 15 seconds up, bud. Hurry up. Reveal. Both of you are incorrect. They had 0 wins.
Fuck! I almost put
have
0.
no idea, man.
I was so close to putting 0, bro, but I'm like, I'll give him 1. I'll give him 1.
Well, good thing you didn't.
Damn it!
Question number 12. What uniform number did the Bears retire for Gale Sayers? Both are incorrect. 40. Number 40. All right, a question hopefully you guys get. Question number 13. What was Alan Williams' job for the Bears in 2022? Reveal. Yes, both of you are correct. Alrighty.
How many left?
We're on question number 14.
What if we tie?
Then,
we tie, we're
and
both taking the
then
shot.
I will
There's
come
still
up.
sudden death.
I will come up with one more question.
Yeah.
All right, question number 14. What place did the Bears finish in their division in 2022? What place did the Bears finish in their division in 2022? Reveal. Yes. The answer was last if you didn't know. Question number 15. Soldier Field is a memorial. Soldier Field is a memorial to soldiers who died in what war? Reveal. Both are incorrect. All wars.
Fuck, I was thinking
What?
about saying that too.
You were thinking about Vietnam?
No, I was thinking about saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a trick question, dude. That was a bullshit question.
Yeah, but you could have gotten it. It makes sense. Why would they only shout out World War II veterans and not World War
Dude,
One,
I didn't-
Vietnam?
Well, I figured
Desert
I figured
Shield.
it was all, but the way you asked it, I figured maybe there was emphasis on one more. Whatever.
All right.
That's bullshit.
So this one, we'll see if you get it. I added it because I believe you guys could get it, but we'll see. Question number 16. Who signed with the Bears on April 10th of 2023? I feel like I know who you're writing down.
I don't know if it's right, but I think.
Brandon, you gotta be fast with these answers, dude.
Come on, that's not 15 seconds.
I stopped it at freaking 17.
No, that's
Wait,
definitely not
what
right.
does that say?
I couldn't hear St. Brown.
I
We just talked about like 2021.
The answer was Ryan Anderson.
Damn it.
Oh, Jesus, Joe! I thought you had that, man. That was a good guess, though. I'll give you that. That was a
All
good
right.
guess.
Question number 17. Who did the Chicago Bears hire as the head coach for the 2022 season?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, really. Well, clearly you guys fucking need it because you guys are struggling, dude.
It's either super easy or fucking hard as hell.
Who do you think higher is that? Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Wrong. No, I'm kidding. You both are correct. It was Matt Eberflus.
Anderson. I don't even know
Alrighty,
who that
and
is.
this one I'm very excited to ask this question.
How many more are left?
We're on question number 18.
I just gotta play. I gotta play defense.
Question number 18. How many Super Bowl touchdowns did Walter Payton score?
I know this one.
7 seconds. 8. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Reveal.
0. 49.
Wait, what?
Oh, you said Super Bowl? I thought you said playoff. My bad.
You think he scored 49 touchdowns in the playoffs?
Hey, at least I'm one behind.
What
you
the
now.
fuck?
Wait, were you right, Joe?
Yeah.
He was right.
Fuck!
The answer was 0.
They said,
And Joe with the comeback!
They
Dude,
said-
hey, honestly, I panicked, dude.
Mike Dickinson
I
says his
panicked.
biggest regret never letting Walter Payton score a touchdown.
Damn it, I panicked, man.
Question number 19. Boys, it's coming down to the wire. It's close.
All right, let's go.
Number 19. How many games did the Bears lose in 2022?
Not counting the preseason, right?
5 seconds, not counting preseason.
Okay.
3 seconds.
Wait, you said how many games did they lose?
Lose.
They didn't lose 3. They lost way more than 3, Joe.
Oh, fuck! I'm thinking,
I said they
Oh,
lost 14.
shit!
What a
Oh,
crucial 14. What a crucial
Let's go!
mistake by Joe.
Joe, I thought.
I was thinking
Let's go.
3 and 14 their record. Oh,
What a
man.
crucial mistake by
Yeah, I
Joe.
fucked that up.
So
I said
Joe,
49
so
touchdowns.
moving forward, Joe has to be perfect. Joe has to be perfect
Well, I
moving
fucked that
forward,
up,
and
so
Brandon
we
has
lost.
to lose both of them.
Defense.
It should have been how many, what was their record? That would have been a better one. Oh well. It is what it is.
Question number 20. What uniform number did the Bears retire for George Hollis?
Come on, man. I don't know these. What the fuck are these kind of questions, Andrew? These are fucking stupid, man.
Bro, you got wrong the fucking easiest question here.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, dude. I don't.
Time's up. Answer is 7.
I have no idea, dude. I didn't
GGs.
know. I didn't know you played. football.
And just for shits and giggles, who was the head coach for the 1985 Bears?
Really,
Really?
you know it,
Really? Of course I do.
Mike Ditka.
Of course.
Wasn't Mike Ditka. I'm kidding. So that concludes our game.
Shot. I guess I'm doing a shot of Malort.
This is history.
Brandon
All of
had
us taking a shot.
Brandon had 11 points. Joe had 9. It would have been 11 to 10. Quite frankly, dude, if you think about it, this could have easily gone into overtime, and I really wish it did. If you got that answer right and you fucking somehow didn't pull that answer out of your ass for the first question, it would have gone into overtime.
And I didn't fuck up the. I was thinking the game. I mixed up loss with wins, obviously.
Yeah, dude.
So-
I can't believe I got that first answer right.
This game should have gone into overtime, but it didn't. So
All right. Do we have the shot board?
The jersey, retired jersey ones, you know.
Those are tough.
besides the Walter Payton, obviously.
Those are tough. Or if you're gonna do that, do it for like Peanut Tillman's 33, right?
Dude, I don't even know.
Those-
I think Peanut was 33. I think
Look.
like Briggs was like 56. Like some of those more modern players.
those, I mean, those some of them.
Jay Cutler was what, 12?
I have no clue. Some of them were difficult.
6. Cutler was 6.
Some of them were difficult, but you know, maybe obviously it's a learning experience. Maybe next time we do this, it'd be easier questions, obviously. But I really wish that went into overtime, man. That could have. But Brandon somehow fucking got the first one right. I wasn't expecting that. What a shame.
It is what it is. The
What a
Bears
shame.
guy lost to the
Hold
hockey
on.
guy.
Let's wait for Brandon, though. So he could win this. You taking a miserable shot of Malort.
I don't mind Malort.
And then don't forget, after this, we have our beer review, and then we're out.
Hour and 54 minutes. Using the bathroom there, huh, Brandon?
Yeah, what the hell are you doing back there, buddy?
I forgot the Eagles game is still on. Or not the Eagles, the Cowboys.
Also,
20-21. Holy crap! At halftime.
if you guys have any feedback on how that trivia game went, if you have any ideas for us, things that we should change or improve on, please let us know. Obviously, feedback is warranted, and we want it. So, hope you guys enjoyed that segment. I definitely had fun doing it. Obviously, I had fun because I'm not risking a shot of Malort. It would have been different if I was, but nonetheless, these two balled out. They had some good answers. Joe, let's see the shot.
And Andrew, you were a good host.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Here's the
Cheers,
Chicago
Joe.
Sports. Let's go, baby. Oh yeah. All right, so on to the beer review here. So,
What a champ.
I picked this beer out.
Joe, I'm sorry, but I thought for sure you would have got the freaking Bears signing for Ryan Anderson.
Dude,
Dude,
Ryan
this
I
guy,
don't know who that is.
This guy was fucking texting me, man, every day, every time a free agent fucking came.
Ryan
by.
Anderson. What does he play?
Yeah, I was real nervous. Like I was
Ryan
very nervous on
Anderson?
that question. I said Equinemius St. Brown. There were a couple answers where I panicked for sure.
What is he? A football player? Dude, what does he do? He's a kicker? Dude, I don't know what this guy even does. I've never even heard of him.
Well, now you know his fucking name.
Yeah, well, I don't even know. I don't think he even plays for the Bears anymore.
Well, they still signed him on April 10th.
All right,
whatever.
Let's go.
All right, beer review.
No, that's right, because I should have known better, because Yannick Ngakoue got signed right during training camp.
Yeah.
So
And we were at Tony D's.
yeah, I know. So, Brandon's going to flash the beer real quick. This is definitely not one of
you
my
gotta lower it.
favorites.
Yeah. Closer.
So, this is a Hot Honey Sopapilla.
Twist it.
That's how you say it. Sopapilla.
Pop it. Smack.
Twist it. So, a Sopapilla is like a pastry, basically. It's made by the 903 Brewers, which is a brewing company. It's honey pepper and Sopapilla flavored cream ale, 6.5% alcohol. The brewing company is located in Sherman, Texas. Definitely not the best beer I've ever had, and definitely not the worst. So like this is why we drink these beers, like when you're going to Binny's or around town, because they sell these beers locally here around Chicago, Binny's. This is not one I would recommend drinking. Not even like a sipping beer after. Like, I had 2 of these beers tonight. These guys only had 1. That's how much they liked it. So, but if I had to rate it on a scale 1 to 10, I would give it a 4 out of 10. It wasn't really that good.
Joe, great review. This was made out of Texas. Not that matters. I'm just going to keep this quick and simple. 3 out of 10.
So I think this is the lowest grade I've ever given a beer on here, too, is a 4 out of 10. Lowest grade.
So this beer was interesting. First and foremost, I know you guys saw the design of it, but it's funny. I guess small story, not really story, but when Joe first arrived and we saw him, when I first saw him carrying this 6-pack, I'm like, when he handed it to me, I said, "What is that? Fucking raviolis on there?" And it was pretty funny, but
Sopapilla.
I guess it's Sopapilla. But what I will say about this beer is that it definitely comes off as kind of a dessert beer. As I was drinking it, I did kind of get some some flashbacks to the s'mores beer that we had and things
It's
like
not
that.
And I had flashbacks to the jalapeno beer.
Really? I didn't really taste a lot of pepper in this.
Better.
That was a lot different.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at this now, I'm seeing that this does say deep fried cinnamon, sugar pastry. It makes sense to me. That said, dessert
like
beer, I usually don't enjoy them regardless. This one in particular, I definitely didn't enjoy. But I might be giving it best rating of the group.
I like that.
I think I'm going to give this a 4.5, which is still terrible, but
right, it's drinkable, but it's not like the worst.
Yeah, like it was drinkable.
Boys, I have a great idea. What if we start doing that after we give our reviews? We drink them so you don't have to.
Yeah, no,
right?
we for the bad ones. We did say that in the first episode.
All right, hey, so let's do it.
Yeah.
We drink them so
you don't have to. We can end the pod like that from now on.
But yeah, no, seriously.
That's a good point.
It's not a beer that we would recommend. It's not that good. So, and I like unique, different style beers, like jalapeno beers. Ask these guys. I'm into that kind of stuff, and this is just not really that good. So
I'm open to trying everything, and this one was just very as mid as it gets.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree 100% with you guys.
It was Justin Fields as a quarterback, pretty much. A little,
It was David Ross as a manager.
Yeah,
that's a compliment to Justin Fields, dude.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, rate, and share if you haven't.
We will have our prediction score for the Lions the next podcast. The game's not till next Sunday,
the next podcast, the winter meetings will be over with because it ends on the 7th, if you remember me saying that. So maybe next week we could be talking about how Shohei Ohtani is officially signed in Chicago. Wouldn't that be cool?
And since we're all kind of debriefing
and Dylan Cease,
I'll go ahead and make sure I keep providing you guys with some hard-hitting Blackhawks updates, and hopefully this team turns it around, and we see a bright future. So, I guess we should end it. You guys
and as for the Bulls, not sure what's going on with that shit.
Dude, they're winning against. So they're playing the Bucks right now, and they were winning.
Hey, any team that is owned by Jerry Reinsdorf.
Blackhawks lost.
Oh my God, they got killed.
1-5 Blackhawks. Yeah. But the Bulls were winning. I don't know if they caught up. They were down 10 points. At
and to end this podcast, Joe.
Yeah.
We drink it so you don't have to.